Hi, Olivia. I'm so glad you made it in today. How you doing? How's Guinness?
I'm doing good. Guinness is doing really well too. He was a little bit stubborn today, but pretty typical for him right now, getting, used to being ridden again and back in the saddle. It's a work in progress, but we're getting there.
How long has it been since he's been ridden?
It's been maybe, I want to say like maybe between 4 and 6 months. It's been a while because he's had an injury on his foot. So he's just now able to start, going out again. But he's doing good. So I'm very proud of him today.
I'm glad. Um, have you had a good morning then, a good week?
It's been all right so far. I just been busy with school, busy with work. Work's still a bit stressful and tense, but we're making it one step at a time.
I'm glad to hear that. Before we begin today, I do want to jot down some notes if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Cool. I do want to ask you, first of all, on a scale of 1 to 10, with one being like really horrible and 10 being fantastic, how has your mood been this week?
Um, I would say maybe between a 5 and a 6, roughly. So I mean, not great, but also not terrible, just pretty average.
So let's say 5.5, between 5 and 6. So what have you done to keep it from going down to, let's say, a 3?
Well, I've been trying to prioritize myself a little bit. Especially like when my mood is when I can feel it kind of deteriorating. Whether it's, writing in my journal, because I've tried to make better habits about journaling as a form of self-care, or, whether it's going out to the barn and, spending some time with Guinness or any of the other horses. So I find the little things where I can, to kind of take an hour or two, I guess, or even if it's only 30 minutes, try to squeeze in where I can. And it's a little harder this week, just because it's been super busy. But I'm doing my best.
It sounds like you've been implementing some self-care practices. Does that sound right?
It does, yeah. I know I've needed to work on it. I've been really trying to make a better habit of it lately, especially in the last few months. It's actually a very highly recommended in the previous course I was taking for my grad program. It was actually one of our assignments was talking about self-care. So I've been trying to do better with that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And my question is, so you said about 5.5. What do you think you can do this week to bring that up to a full 6 or 7? Any ideas?
Well, I know I'm taking Guinness out again on Friday, so I know that'll be very helpful. I'm also going to be going back to church again on Wednesday. It's been kind of hard, honestly, the last month because I haven't been able to go to my regular, young adults services because they normally happen on Wednesdays. But I've either just had too much going on with school or too much going on, like just in general. So I haven't really been able to necessarily make it. And with work taking such a toll lately, um I have not even had the energy really to go to church. So I'm very excited that I'm going to carve out some time this week to make that happen, because I know I won't be able to go next week either because I'll be in Black Mountain for residency. So got to make time this week.
I'm glad to hear that you are thinking ahead of ways of taking care of yourself. I do have to ask, because I am required to always ask, have you had any thoughts of harming yourself or even waking up and just feeling like you just don't wish that you were just not here present
No, no,
or harming anybody else?
no.
So tell me more about your week. Tell me some of the good things, some of the bad things, whatever you want to share.
Well, let's see. I mean, this week, despite, as I said, it is a pretty hectic week. I mean, granted, it's not necessarily like with school, for example, it's not necessarily coursework heavy this week. It's pretty typical. I have a role play with each one of my current classes. plus a discussion board with each one of my current classes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for these role play videos, for example, that we have to do in these classes, it takes a lot of, preparation. And so it definitely causes a lot of nerves. So I'm trying to, do as much prep as I can for those. I'm also dealing with a little bit of anxiety, kind of going back to work again on Thursday. I mean, granted, I don't work nearly as much as I used to. Since I started my course since I started grad school, I um, went from working full-time hours, 45, 50 hours a week to like 20 hours. I only work 2 days a week now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but because of my work environment, it is still at times very painful and not enjoyable. But it's yeah, it just kind of is one of those things, I gotta pay bills. So I'm still gonna go to work. I'm still gonna show up. But trying to like it kind of takes a minute, to like get into the right headspace to be able to be like, all right, I'm at work, we're gonna make it, it's gonna be fine. But yeah, it's just taking some mental preparation to get ready for it.
Sounds like you've had a lot of mental preparation this week between school and work.
Yeah, it's can be a lot, especially like lately because we're getting into the holiday season now at work. So business is picking up. Like this past Saturday, for example, it felt like everything in that building was on fire. I was feeling very overstimulated. Like I haven't experienced a shift like that in quite some time where I don't really know how to describe it in words, but like I felt like my head and my arms were like wanting to shrink into my body because I didn't know if I was gonna scream or cry. Because like the kitchen was just could not keep up and they were falling behind, and then everybody's tables were upset and mad, and then the servers were stressed out. It's a nightmare.
So it
Nightmare.
sounded a little overwhelming.
Very much so. I was very proud of myself by the time I got to the end of it because I did not, scream or cry. Um, but it was definitely very overwhelming. I mean, kudos to two very good friends of mine who, kept like being like, Olivia, like breathe, breathe. Like my friend Jacob like took me by the shoulders and was like, breathe, like so very helpful, but it's getting a bit crazy, and the whole tension I've been dealing with at work these last few months hasn't really helped all that much, so it just kind of adds another layer onto that. But yeah.
It sounds like you have really good friends.
I do. I don't have nearly as many as I used to, due to that workplace tension. With the whole, like, over the last couple months, I've been dealing with some workplace bullying. Um, Not super fun for me at all. But it's in a way, I'm grateful for the end result of I really have been able to see who's there for me and who cares about me truly and who I know I can count on, because that list is a lot smaller than what I was led to believe. You know what I mean? So like I thought I had a not a necessarily a larger like a large group, a large circle of people. I have two. I have two now. Um and I mean, it hasn't been a fun experience. Most of it's settled in a way, but not all of it because unfortunately some of those people still work there. Um, but yeah, like it's been a lot to kind of sort through, I guess. You know what I mean? So yeah. But we're getting there. We're coping, I guess. Trying to at least.
Can you tell me more about the bullying?
Well, it started with um people that I thought were friends of mine. And of course, the restaurant industry is toxic anyway. It always has been at every restaurant job I've ever been in. And so it just, there's always the he said she said stuff, so it's all hearsay. And so things get spun way out of control. And unfortunately, like even though I had nothing to do with any of it, I somehow got dragged into it because I was associated with people that were directly involved in it. And so because I get dragged into it by association, things get twisted around that involve me that have no business involving me. And so it really reflected a lot of people's true colors. But uh it thankfully the main sources no longer work there, whether because they left, they just quit, which yay. But a couple of people still work there and they're trying to, like, I guess, what's the right word for it, guilt trip me back into being their friend, and I'm not doing that. I was very nice about it. I was like, look, I have love for you because we were friends for a while, but I'm just going to love you from afar because this friendship is unhealthy. So I'm trying to, set healthy boundaries for myself because I have too much going on in my life, with work and with school, that I can't afford to have those kinds of unhealthy things.
It sounds like you've had a difficult time. It sounds as if some of the people that caused a lot of stress at least left, would give you some form of relief, but it sounds like you still have a few more people and situations to deal with. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say it's accurate. But it's been kind of peaceful for right now. So I'm just kind of making sure I uphold those boundaries of mine, so that I continue to prioritize and preserve my sense of peace. Because that's just one thing I'm not willing to sacrifice, for anything like work or anything like that. I can't, I'm not really wanting to sacrifice that contentment.
Let's talk about those boundaries a moment. Thinking, what are the challenges to upholding those boundaries? Have you thought about,
Challenges to upholding those boundaries. It's hard because we do all work together, so, and we all talk to the same people. We kind of run with some of the same people. Granted, there's only one person in that entire building that I talk to all day, every day, whether I'm there with them at work or not. But because I have, I guess, what you could call acquaintances at my job, because I'm still professional with everybody, but because I had those acquaintances, um, they are friends with the people that I used to be friends with. So it kind of makes it harder in a way, but it's become a bit easier now because I used to struggle with boundaries. But as I've grown, I've become a lot better about upholding boundaries.
well, it sounds as if it's getting a lot better, but it's still not perhaps exactly the way that you would want it to be. And
Not, yeah.
so my question to you is, it's the miracle question. Let's say that while you were sleeping, a miracle happens, and even though the work environment and the people are all the same, somehow it is all different, and you show up and you are able to have like the best day ever. And my question would be, how would you know that the miracle happened? What would you feel differently? And along those lines, what kind of behavior or thinking or thoughts would be different from you?
Um, wow, that's a complicated question. If a miracle happened and basically everything was kind of, I guess, how I would like it to be at work, um, I I feel like I wouldn't have to consistently reiterate those boundaries to those that are continuing to like try to step over and try to like step back into my life, because I am still dealing with that. And I keep having to be like, look, I've already given you my answer. I've already talked to you about this whole thing. Like there's nothing more for me to say about this. Um, because I also don't want to be cold or rude. Because we do work together and I don't want that to affect the work environment. So I don't want to have to keep reiterating those boundaries. I mean, I will if I have to, because it protects myself, but it it gets redundant having to continue to do so. But, that would be great. But we're maybe eventually once, because I mean, it's only been like 2 months. So maybe over the course of a little bit longer, it'll finally sink in with those people. And they'll just kind of leave it alone. At least I hope so.
I would like to work on an exercise with you if you're willing. I
Oh,
have an idea. It's called pre-living success visualization. It's basically a mental rehearsal. And I would like for you to take a moment and think about the next time somebody oversteps a boundary, what would be your ideal way to respond? And this is scientifically based in terms of your mind does not really know the difference between reality and fantasy as long as you are truly immersed in it. So I would like for you to take a moment. And if you want to talk it through, that'd be great. And if you prefer to do it silently, just let me know when you're done. And I want you to mentally rehearse somebody that you know coming to you. You already know the situations. And I want you to really think through how you want to respond. And I want you to feel the moment as if you are truly there, the smells, the sight, the shoes, the clothes, hear the sounds. And when you're ready, you can begin. And like I said, if you don't want to say it out loud, you just let me know when you're done. If you want to speak it out, all the better.
okay. I guess I can speak it out because sometimes that helps me, like, I guess, sound it out better and keep up. um, so I'll use my previous best friend as a good reference point because she's the one that's continuing to try to like step back in. Um, but her main course of action is through sending me things on social media despite having been removed from all my social media. She's not blocked, but she's like removed from my all of my pages. um I guess the next time she tries to send me something, um I can maybe respond, because right now I just haven't been responding to when she sends me something, hoping that by me not responding, that is a form of responding by being like, I don't know why you're talking, trying to reach out to me. But maybe I can be, I don't want to say it over text message because that I don't like saying important stuff over text because I feel like context and tone can get lost in translation. So maybe approaching her at work and being like, look, I feel like I need to reiterate myself when I told you that I needed space. Um, I would like that to extend to forms of communication through social media as well. If you can please allow me to have that space on social media by refraining from sending me whatever it is you want to send me. Does does that sound healthy? Like a healthy?
I think so. Do you think so?
I think it does. I think, yeah, I think I could use that when I see.
Now, here's the thing. Can you see yourself doing that? So the visualization exercise is, and if you want to close your eyes, you can, and if you don't want to, that's fine. But I want you to feel yourself in the moment. I want you to see yourself and feel yourself receiving the social media. And I want you to, in your mind's eye, walk to her, see yourself doing this, see her, and I want you to hear your voice saying that to her. And I want you to see how she responds to you. And remember, this is your fantasy, so it's your ideal. So you're doing everything exactly the way you want it to happen.
Yeah, I can see myself doing that. It might be uncomfortable, but that's pretty expected. Um, but yeah, I can see myself doing that.
Is it okay that it's uncomfortable?
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like the harder things in life, the things that really need to get done sometimes can be uncomfortable. Um, so you just kind of like I just got to push through that and trudge through it.
I would like for you to practice in your mind's eye and visualize that a few times before you go to work. And that way, if and when well, probably will happen again. When it happens, you are basically mentally prepared. And in your mind, it's as if you've already done it. So it might seem a lot easier to do. And that way, next time we speak, I would like to hear if a situation like that came up, and how you handled it and if that was helpful or not.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your insights today.
And I just wanted to check with you again in terms of at this moment, how are you feeling about our time and things in general?
Much better. Much better. I would say, on if I had to give it a number rating, I would say maybe a 7 or an 8 for sure.
I'm glad to hear that. Please check with the secretary for the next appointment.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you so much for coming in, Olivia. Hope you have a great day.
You too. Bye.